Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Avini Health Tuesday afternoon testimonial call. We have some wonderful testimonies lined up, and also there'll be some surprise testimonies that I don't even know about yet. I'm always so surprised when I hear them. It's just so amazing to hear what is happening in, as Chip says, our stream of miracles. If you're brand new, we want to welcome you today. Thank you for spending your time with us. Our company is a company of natural healing products that are very unique. And as you will learn, there's a lot of science behind them. We have a wonderful biochemist that has developed these products for us. And we're excited to work with him and to see what the science does to help our bodies heal itself. We do not make any medical claims. As you'll hear, people will describe what they were like before and some of the issues of what they're dealing with, but then they'll say they took the products and then what's happening now. So your body's created miraculously and it can heal itself with the right help. And that's what we have, is the right help with Avini Health. With that, I would like to I'm excited to introduce our CEO, Neil Roth, who we're so grateful for with all of his work to get our company going and doing all of these wonderful things for us, along with Rick Deitch and Doug Dickey. We just thank you so much, Neil. Come on and share with us what you have today. Thank you.
Okay, welcome everybody to a new month, I guess, right? Every month is a new month. It just seems like it comes around a little too quickly. I just wanted to remind everybody of a couple of things. Number one, the main thing, and I know Howard just talked about it before also, we need to talk about the conference next month. It's 4 weeks away. A lot of you have not signed up yet. A lot of you have signed up. I would suggest you do that. Anybody who signs up a new distributor, please get a hold of Heath, and for a new distributor with the ID number, he will assign a coupon so they can get it for the $99. So they don't get, forced out just because they weren't here early. The other thing is we have a contest going on, and we have a number of people who've already, made it into the contest. But go back and take a look at that. You need 5 people to start getting some money. There's a lot of cash to be given out, so please take advantage of that. And then as far as the conference goes, I can tell you that, as we're putting it together, because we're getting closer and closer, you're going to be amazed at what goes on at this conference. We've got all kinds of new things to talk to you about and show you. You're really not going to want to miss this conference. Couple of updates on the company. Our business is phenomenal. We had a very good year last year, or a very good 8 months. Which for most people would have been a really good year. So that's how well you guys did. Right now, we got hit with a little bit of storms in the Midwest and Dallas and everything else. So we're about 2 days on some products. We're about 2 days out, but by tomorrow, everything is going to be caught up. So I apologize, but we had a bunch of stuff stuck near where Darren lives for a while. So it was, well, let's say, you have no idea how many ingredients are in each one of our products. And it only takes one ingredient for us not to be able to make it. So we actually stocked up even bigger than we normally do. So this will never happen again, because nothing irritates me more than not shipping out on the day we get the order. So, and when I get irritated, everybody gets irritated in the company, because it rolls downhill, Let's see what else. Oh God, there's just so many good things coming on. We got some new products coming for you. You're going to want to see those. We've got some new speakers for you. And those of you who are emeralds and diamonds and going to make emerald this month, during the month of February, you're going to have a great time on that Thursday night. We have an unbelievable evening planned for you. I'm hoping that a lot more of you get to emerald. I'm looking forward to taking a lot of people to that. So keep on working. If you need any help, I know that Marcy's happy to help anybody get to emerald, right, Marcy?
That's right. Diamond too.
Diamond too. So, all right. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to the important stuff, the products.
And before we go one step further, let's don't forget, there will be many of your peers speaking at this event. Please come and support them. It may be some of you. We're still arranging some of the speakers for Friday morning. And if you want to be one, getting to Diamond or Emerald would be really great. Also, don't forget, you have to have your auto ships in before Friday. That's all I have. Go ahead, Rob.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcy. We appreciate you and Chip and your leadership also. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all your help. You're always there for our connection, three-way calls. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, well, I would like to, Thane, if you are on today, I know Thane stepped out of in the middle of working on a job. Thane, are you there?
I am here, Sister
Woohoo!
Robin. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you? We even see your job behind you.
Well, this was the one you see behind me is actually the one I finished up last fall.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
Old Man Winter kind of closed me out, so it's kind of in the middle of work. But anyhow, I'm on another project. That's the beauty of being a contractor. If I need some time off, I just talk to myself and convince myself that I need it. So there you go. Yep. Oh, shucks. Absolutely looking forward to convention down in Las Vegas. Can't wait to go and see everybody and wrap my big burly construction arms around every single one of you. Although it might be a little challenging with Darren. Not gonna lie, he's a little bit bigger than me. But you know, Robin, I love what Avini is, what it stands for, what we have, the capacities and the abilities. Neil, if I may, I hope I can steal a little bit of your thunder, if that's all right. I was talking to Doug Dickey the other day, and excuse me, Doug was actually talking about the projected growth of what we're going through with Avini and everything else. And Doug made mention that April of this year, either April or May, could be the first month that we'll see $1 million worth of business in 1 month's time frame in all of Avini since it started. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse as far as how fast we're growing, I'm absolutely blown away with this company. Great leadership, great products, second to none. I'm having people time and time again when I share information with them, they're asking me, where can I get this? And is this really possible? So anyhow, that leads me to my one story that I want to share with you. Her name is Kesley, and she's actually 3 years of age, and her mother is Julie. But the interesting thing about it is Kesley, when she was right about 14 to 16 months old, you know, they start doing the little babble, the little chatter that they come up with, you know, uh-oh and oh no and choo-choo and things of that nature, not really putting words together, but getting pretty close. And then all of a sudden, at one point in time, it all stopped. And they couldn't figure out what was going on and everything else. And little by little, she just became more and more distant. She showed less and less emotion. She showed less and less encouragement towards wanting to engage socially with the people that were around her and everything else. And she just quit talking altogether. And, you know, they don't actually have a diagnosis with her. But the one thing that they do wonder is if she had a neurological short circuit with her mental capacity. She just quit talking altogether. It quit making sense. She wouldn't identify or recognize her own voice, or excuse me, her own name being called. She wouldn't do anything on command. And like I said, this was the course of about 1.5 years, because she's 3 years of age now. And she ended up, you know, during Christmas time, funds were a little bit tight. Everybody had Christmas on the brain. And Julie wanted to get a bottle of Cell Defender. And she couldn't afford the ability to do so. And so I thought, you know what, who am I to deny the gift of a possibility of a little girl having the opportunity to advance, to grow. So I gave her a bottle. I said, Julie, you know, I know you know, whether you can pay me for it or not, that's irrelevant. But what I want you to do is to pay me forward by at least keeping me updated as far as what's going on with Kesley, and keep me in the loop, if you will. And she said, absolutely. So anyhow, within 1 week's time frame, basically was just giving her 10 drops, 2 to 3 times a day, not really knowing how much and what the protocol was, because again, Kesley's only 3, maybe right around 40 pounds. But the interesting thing about it is within that 1 week's time frame, Julie was driving down the road and her daughter was in the car seat behind her. And Julie had sneezed. And Kesley, hearing that in the back seat, started mimicking the sound of her mother sneezing. And so, of course, Julie, she reached up and grabbed her rearview mirror and started adjusting it and said, Kesley, say achoo. And Kesley started doing it on command. And in process of time, Julie started progressing from saying achoo to say uh-oh. And Kesley was doing that as well at the same time. And so Julie, you know, frantically, she grabbed her phone and she put it on record and she held it up and she was recording Kesley in the back seat. Say achoo, say uh-oh, you know, do all these things. So she was doing a lot of them on voice command. And the beautiful thing about it is it progressed from achoo to uh-oh to oh no, to all the little things that kids of the right around the 14 to 18-month-old time frame would start mimicking and doing. But the big thing about it is Kesley was doing it on command. Now fast forward 2 more weeks. Julie took her time off, or took a day off work and everything else, went and purchased some food. And Kesley's older sister is 15. So there's a 12-year spread between Kesley and her older sister. And so Julie brought home some fast food, and Kesley reached out and grabbed something because she was going to eat it. And Julie stopped her. And she said, now, Kesley, that's your sister's. If you want it, you've got to say please. And so Kesley, it didn't really register. And so Kesley went to bite it again, and Julie stopped her the second time and said, no, no, no. If you want it, you've got to say please. So Kesley paused for a second. She looked down at her feet, so you could tell that she was mentally thinking about the choice of actions and the outcome of doing so. And just as soon as Kesley looked down at her feet, she paused for a few seconds. She looked up at her mommy and she said, peas. And from that point forward, Kesley is now starting to engage in conversation by mimicking sounds, by trying to say mama, by saying please. And not only that though, but she's starting to show affection towards her mother, towards her sister, towards her grandparents. And for 3 years, she had not been able to do so. So the beauty, the gift of what we have is the possibility to help people beyond what we can conceive is even possible. I thank my lucky stars that I followed the inspiration to give Julie a bottle of Cell Defender, because who knows where Kesley would be today if I hadn't.
Awesome. Thank you, Thane. That was a requested testimonial today, and thank you for sharing it again. We never get tired of hearing, especially our little ones, getting their lives back, but anyone, we have from all ages and all kinds of different issues. It's about our body healing itself. And what a wonderful, wonderful testimonial. Thank you so much, Thane. Speaking of incredible, wonderful testimonials and miracles, I want to introduce you to Patricia Hammer. We call her Trisha, and she is one of our important family members here with Avini. You're each very important, but today we're so thankful that she is here and she's having so many wonderful results with these products. Trisha's going to come in and give us an update. Actually, Trisha, your whole testimonial, there's a lot of people on the call and that will hear this call that have never heard your testimonial. So what would you like to share? And then give us an update also, please. Go ahead and unmute yourself and we're ready for you, girl. How are you?
Huh? Go ahead, Robin. What were you saying?
Oh, I just saying, how are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Awesome. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what was your life before you were able to get on Rick's Cell Defender product, and what products are you taking of Avini Health? Tell me which products you're taking and how much did you start with when you first started a couple years ago with this? Tell me that first, please.
So I only started with the Cell Defender at the very beginning, and I was taking about 1 or 2 drops at a time. Now I'm taking the cell defender and the mushroom together.
Okay. And we're gonna just, Trisha, without making any medical claims, do you want to share a little bit about what your challenge is? And what was it like? What's the difference now taking the cell defender, however you want to express that? What are you seeing different now that you're taking our cell defender and our mushroom product? What has it done for you?
So I've been on the cell defender for 124 weeks. I'm doing really well with being able to dress and undress myself in a lot of different aspects, and just being able to do a lot of independent work. And over time with the mushroom and different things with the cell defender, I've gone from falling every couple of days to almost, I'm at the point where I'm going between 4 and 5 months right now of not falling at all.
Cool. I love that. That is so exciting. Okay, I'm going to restate that. That's very important. You were falling once or twice a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until a few months ago. Now you have not had a fall since when?
October.
October, and this is February.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, now I've got to say, because I got to say, one of the awesome things, when I first remember you coming on to share your testimonial, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks after you had started on the cell defender. And like you said, you started slow and then built up a drop here and there, and then you built up to several drops a day. But within about 3 weeks, you came on this call for us. This is a while back. And you shared what was happening. And I think, I'm trying to remember exactly what was going on, but you were having some fun things happen, and you can share that if you remember. But some of your words weren't coming out clear. You know, I had to lean up to the computer and kind of listen, and I was having to repeat some of your words to see if we were hearing you correctly. And then like a month later or so, maybe 5, 6 weeks later, you came back on and your speech was just like it is now. So clear. I mean, I have no problem understanding you. Do you remember that?
I remember you talking about it several times, yeah.
And I'm sorry, but to me, it's pretty important, because that's an amazing thing. You know, you may not have realized it, you know, but we heard you, and then we heard it clear up. That's amazing that your body could adjust, you know, and heal itself to a point where you could speak clearly. What are some of the other things that are happening since you've been taking Cell Defender that you remember?
Well, one of the biggest things that's happened recently is I've been going from, I've been having to take acid reflux pills from the doctor since I started Cell Defender, meaning before so. And then now I'm at the point where I'm taking 1 or 2 of those a month, and I'm doing pretty well with just doing regular things. I can eat pretty much anything I want to. And I also added a little bit of some Gatorade to it a little bit once in a while, and it helps with the acid as well.
Wow. So, were you before then taking a pill every day?
I went to the ER in September of 2020, and they gave me this really strong stuff, and I had to take it every day. And then I went to a lower dose of something else, but then I've been weaning off of that slowly. And that's what I mean. I'm only taking 1 or 2 of those a month now.
Wow. Are there any other medications that you've been able to wean off of that you can share? Or
I didn't have any when I started the Cell Defender, so but
just
I had
the
them
acid.
over time. I've had them, and that's partly why I've been watching the way that I have infections and things, because that still affects me sometimes. That's how I got into some of these health problems. Is I had a UTI that was really bad, and then over time I was like, there's no way out of this medication. So it's just like, okay, I got to get out of it. So that's why I wanted to go into a natural setting, but I didn't know how to until I ran into rosemary. So
Awesome. Yeah, Rosemary's been a huge help
yes,
for you. And by the way, for everyone that let's do a couple little things to tell people about so they can use your testimonial for people. Rosemary did, and you did a beautiful 12-minute, I think, testimonial that is on our website that Rich does for us, the avinihealthtraining.com site. Anyone can go there and they can grab your testimonial under the testimonials. I send that out to several people. So thank you and Rosemary for doing that. And then also you have, I think your life's changed in many ways. Before I go on to your YouTube channel, I'm going to say, okay, so we usually have pictures here to show before and after, but I remember that one of your, was it your right side, your hand was up to your chest and it was stuck there, right? You couldn't really pull that. You couldn't move on a daily basis. That's where your hand was up here, high up, and it was just in your way all the time, right? I mean, you couldn't really do much with that hand. Is that correct?
yeah, it
Okay.
got in my way of doing independent things because the hand would get stuck in the jacket or whatever, and it was just frustrating. So when it moved after the first day of taking the cell defender, I was like, oh, now I can do a lot of different things. So the arm's not in the way.
Okay, now I want to make sure nobody misses that. So after the first day, you took how many drops of Cell Defender?
I was only taking about, I would say 5 drops throughout the whole day, I guess. And the next day I just was like, what?
So your hand, your arm and hand actually relaxed and it was no longer stuck up in that position after one day of the Cell Defender. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing to me. I think all of us, it's just amazing, isn't it? That your body could relax, your body, your whole, I mean, to me, that's like, man, quality of life, right?
It still gets in the way when I walk sometimes, but
Okay.
when I'm sitting, it's not even in my way at all.
Wow. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about that I remember you saying was sometimes someone in the family wouldn't realize, or they, whatever, they're leaving in a hurry and they would slam the door. What did that used to do to you? Loud noises. What would that do to you?
So I call it a startle reflex, which comes from when you're tiny, but it got bigger and bigger as I got, and so finally it looks like a seizure, which people kind of get scared by. And it's like, no, it's not a seizure. It's just a bigger reaction like a baby would have. So it's just something I've had to teach people to be careful of, is like, don't just slam something down. Or I used to had to be careful about it, and now I don't have to be careful about it at all.
Okay. That is incredible. Incredible. Anything else that you can think of that you want to share today? Okay, and then let's talk about your art, and then let's talk about your YouTube channel. What have you done now that you have, more quality of life? You've got, it's just kind of brightened up your life and you're doing these wonderful things. Tell me what happened with your art after you got on the Cell Defender.
Well, what's changed about just 3-dimensional things and seeing things is that I can see things in smaller print. When I read on my phone, I can do artwork in smaller spaces without going through the lines. And I've been able to read my own books. Like, I'm working with a lady who writes her own books, and she's having me do fan art for the book. And I can actually read the book myself and remember it, instead of having someone have to read me the book and then have to go back to read the book and ask them what I read before.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible. And then what about your YouTube channel? What are you doing now? You have a couple YouTube channels that you've done. Tell us about the first one, and then what's developed now, what you're doing for all of us.
Well, like you were saying earlier, that you can find my testimony on the training website. That's where he got the testimony from. He attached it to my YouTube, and I'm sharing different parts of my story about my disability on that channel.
And which channel, what's that channel?
It's
So
called
people,
Finding Happiness with CP.
Okay. Finding help with CP. Is that
No,
right?
finding happiness with
Oh.
CP.
I'm sorry. I know that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Finding happiness with CP. Okay. And anybody can go there and hear your story, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what else have you developed lately that's just so amazing?
I decided to offer to you if I could make a YouTube for the Avini Testimonies, and you had me talk to Neil about whether that would be an option, and I'm gotten 2 weeks worth up on that one so far. That's completely edited, and people can take those and share them. And it's
Awesome.
called Spreading the Hope.
Spreading the hope. And that is amazing. We so appreciate it. You're just helping everyone along with yourself on that and being able to share Avini and the hope that we have. And so spreading the hope, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And we appreciate it because I know that takes a lot of time and man hours to take those, our testimony calls like today, and you're taking those in the past and you're making smaller segments, small testimonials that are short and putting them on there so we can watch them, we can send them out or send anyone to that YouTube channel and they can watch them and get help. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, Trisha. I thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share that we forgot to share?
I want to just leave it open to people ask a question if they have one.
Yeah, please. Anybody have a question? You're welcome to unmute and ask. Trisha is open for questions. If you have anything about what's been happening with her and the Avini products. I think you did a beautiful job today, Trisha, though. Thank you very much for the details. Anybody have a question?
Didn't I hear at some point that Trisha got married?
Yes, I am married.
Hallelujah. Go, girl.
Awesome. And
Trisha,
yes.
Trisha, this is Dave Gilbert. I just went to your YouTube site. What a wonderful endeavor and project. Good job.
Awesome.
Trisha, Trisha, what's the story on your van? Do you have that back now and everything?
Oh, you got muted somehow, Trisha. There you go.
I don't know what I'm going to do about that. There's other issues with that as well. So that's why I haven't actually gone back to finding a car and all those things. But that's why I started the YouTube as well, is because I wanted to find something else productive to do in the situation that I'm in now. So
So we'll keep updated with her on that, Frank. Thanks for asking. We can do that at other times too. We'll communicate and keep up with that for her. We all care about you, Trisha, and it's real important. We want to make sure you get, you have what you need to continue your destiny that God put you on the earth for, because it's huge. And we are so grateful to have you as part of us. I think someone else I interrupted. Was there someone else that asked a question? Wanted to ask a question?
This is Logan. I just wanted to tell Trisha what an inspiration she is to so many. That's just incredible. I'm just blown away by all the wonderful things that she's doing.
Yes, we
Thank
do
you.
appreciate you. We appreciate you so very much. All right. Thank you, Trisha. That's so special today. Thank you, everybody, for your questions too. That's awesome. Okay, I am going to bring Darren on. He had an update on something that's happened to him, and I've asked him to share it. And then, guys, we still have some time. So if you have a testimonial today, get ready to share. Darren, come on aboard here.
I wasn't expecting anything. And of course, when we were leaving the doctor today, George is like, hey, isn't today's Robben Zoom? You can share this. So I think it was on Thursday, something got into my eye and I made the mistake of scratching it. And it was one of those things when it happened, it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. And I started spraying it with the nano silver, and it was the end of the month. We were out of the cell defender, and I was like, well, guess we're just using the nano silver. And of course I was using the Zimmunity mushrooms a little bit more, because I knew something was in there, and my eye got really fat. The eyelid was fat up around here. It's still a little swollen. It's not totally back to normal. And over the weekend, just kept doing that. Georgia was spraying in my eye and stuff. And I was a little nervous that something seriously was wrong with my eye. It wasn't oozing or anything weird like that, but it was fat and it was very red. And so just kept dousing it. And it was looking better yesterday, but I was like, I'm still going to go get checked out because something just isn't right about it. So I went to the eye doctor this morning. He's, of course, my eyelids fighting him. He's like, I've never failed at getting somebody's eyelid up. Well, he failed today. But he was able to get in there and look, and he goes, you had LASIK surgery done. And I said, I did. And he goes, well, whatever you did on Thursday, you had scratched right at where they had put the flap back for LASIK. But he goes, I'm not going to do anything for you because whatever you did over the weekend, your eye is fine. And I'm like, oh, I told him about it. And of course, he doesn't know what it was and just didn't have time to listen or anything. But it's still a little swollen. It still doesn't look right, but it looks like I was looking like Rocky Balboa over the weekend. It was just all nasty and fat and stuff. And I was telling everyone that Georgia punched me. So, but hey, we don't set out to do dumb things, but things happen, and we have the products that work. And I just wanted to share something else, Robben, if I may, what I shared with you earlier. So I got into Avini back in April of last year, and you've heard a lot of people talk about the weight that they've lost and stuff. And it wasn't until Summit when we learned about toxic obesity, because we never really thought about it. So a lot of us got in April and May and started using the products. I started to lose some weight when I met everybody in April. Neil went to Florida. I was between 305 and 310, somewhere in there. And obviously I started, dropping the weight, being on all the products. And then the Trim Science comes out, and we've only been out for a week now. And, I can't pinpoint exactly which product it is that's helping me, drop weight. But I'm at 265 now. So let's do the math and carry the one. That's between 40 and 45 pounds that I've lost since April of last year. Not by starving myself or, running like Forrest Gump all over the country, but it's using these products. We didn't know, and we didn't think about it before the summit that, we were taking care of the toxins in our body, toxic obesity, things, you're able to drop it off and stuff. So I just thought with the Trim Science being out and everything that we're learning and everything that's coming about, coming our way with these products, I just think we have a really, really good future. I think a lot of us, I don't want to say we're all just going to be, skinny beanpoles someday, that in my mind, skinny is not exactly healthy, but lean, that's a good word. So anyway, I was sharing this with Robben, and I was like, can I share that on your Zoom? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Absolutely. Always, guys, you don't have to ask. A testimonial is a testimonial. Whether you think it's small or not significant, you never know who else needs to hear what has happened to you. So that's what this call is all about. And I want to say about the Trim Science, pretty amazing that, and I remember Rich and Rhonda Cotter also said, about losing quite a bit of weight themselves just on, coming on the Cell Defender and the other products. And it is important for us to talk about that the fat cells will sequester toxins and poisons and heavy metals within the fat cells to try to sequester it from the body, try to keep our bodies healthy. So it is amazing that the Cell Defender in and of itself also can help you get rid of unwanted fat. And now coming in and learning about our Trim Science and all the science that Rick has given us on that. If you don't know, you can go on the Avini Health training site. There's wonderful recordings on that to help you educate yourself. But that toxic obesity, it was really interesting to hear that most of us in the United States, a lot of us, a big portion of our population are obese, meaning maybe 10 pounds overweight that is not good good fat. And we need to have some balance in our weight, in our body. And so this is a way to do it naturally. And I know we're already having some great results, people losing weight already just in 5 or 6 days. So that is very exciting and encouraging for me, and I hope it is for you. Okay, with that, who else would like to share? Thank you, Darren. That was very valuable today. I appreciate you. And then share Trisha and Thane. Who else is next? Chip.
If you call on Thane again, he has something new since he last spoke. We were just gone from the call for a minute. So call on Thane again.
All right, Thane, come on aboard. Are you okay? Are you there, Thane? Thane, can you unmute and share with us again? Okay, Chip, you're going to have to tell us. We can't be in suspense here.
Oh, actually, the person that had it happen for them is also coming. So it may be taking them a minute to get them on. And this began, it was kind of frustration post-surgery, still hurting. Said, okay, I'm using the product. I'm not getting where I need to go. So we brainstormed it last night, and the results are available in moments, I hope. So I'd say go on and come back.
Okay, you text him, make sure when he comes on, let us know. All right, who would like to share? Anybody like to share a testimonial? Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? We have 95 people on here and you guys are all being shy on me?
Hey, Robin, I won't be shy.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome. And I just wanted to report, because in addition to my charming personality, I happen to be a technical sort of guy. So I happen to have a visit with my doctor today, and we reviewed my blood work, which hadn't been reviewed for 3 months. And she said, wow. And I like wow. And she said, I mean, you weren't bad off to start with, but I mean, things are really good. Your cholesterol came down 10 points. Now it's down to the total numbers down to 185. And she highlighted this one, the small LDLP, whatever that is, came down from 569 to 523. And she said, you're doing great. So anyway, I just thought I'd report that. And she said, just keep doing it. So I'm doing it.
So David, how long have you been on the Avini products, Rick's products, and what are you taking to improve your health like that?
Well, I started on the Cell Defender a couple of companies ago, and the silver, and then, but as soon as the fiber came out, I added that on. So, and I do that religiously twice a day, and I do the Immunity to one in the morning, one at night. And I just started the Trim Science for about a week, but and whatever else, I have the new silver. That's great. So I use them all, because that's what somebody said. Do them all.
How much, just to get specific, how many drops do you take a day of the Cell Defender?
I take a dropper full in the morning and a dropper full at night. And interestingly, before I had this work, I asked her, I said, could you get me a blood test for heavy metals? And she said, sure. So I got a blood test for heavy metals, and I have some heavy metals in my system. And I remember Chip saying, well, any heavy metals you have in your body isn't good. So I said, I think what I'm going to do is up my Cell Defender now. And I said, how soon can we take the heavy metals test again? And she said, well, let's give it 3 months. I said, okay. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to up my Cell Defender a couple of more shots a day and see if I can get those numbers even down further. They're well within a usable range, but I'd like to get them down to 0 because I think that's a better place to be.
Awesome. Thank you, David. I appreciate that so much.
Well, the one thing I think I like it because we always hear stories about somebody who had, some spectacular symptoms and stuff. And I didn't have spectacular symptoms, but I think this indicates this helps everybody regardless of what's going on as a preventative thing.
Absolutely. And we're looking at anti-aging. We're looking at, it's amazing to have products that help you feel younger, look younger. And when you have those kind of numbers, you're not getting worse, you're actually getting better. And so that's kind of interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's great report.
Yeah. And one more thing, she took my blood pressure and I said, how's that? She said, perfect. I said, well, what does perfect mean? And she said, it's 104/64. She said, that's pretty damn good for a guy who's about to be 79. So
awesome. I love it. I love it.
Go.
Thank you, David. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, Thane, do we have you back on? Okay, well, Chipper, I think it's time for you to come and close the call, and not sure what we want to do. If Thane's not on, we may have to catch him next week on that, huh?
Okay. Well, maybe they're making an effort to get the information transferred so she can come on.
Okay.
But been doing some interesting things lately, and I really like to have the people who are, on the very, very front line be the ones to tell their own stories. But sometimes someone will call and they're using the products and they're not yet getting the result that they want. And so at that point, I always think, well, first of all, thank you for, calling and letting us know that, you weren't one of those, 45-minute miracles like do happen. We're going to have to, keep working, and it's worth the effort to get there. And so I think in my mind about what would hyper compliance look like? What would it be if you did everything right at the same time? If you used the products in the most creative ways that any of us have thought of, that sort of a thing. And so there's little tricks that come with each product, it seems like. And certainly with the Avini Cell Defender, the frequency seems to be magic. When you go up to using the product every hour with Avini Cell Defender, it seems like if you're up against something and you can't get your breakthrough, that's a wonderful place to go look for it. And so with the fiber, one of the things that seems to be magic is to be sure you do it before the meal so that it proceeds just before the meal going through the digestive tract. Sometimes people are using it, and if they're not getting the result they want yet, moving it to right before the meal oftentimes makes the difference, or a couple of times a day, that kind of a thing. The product that I'm putting off telling about, hoping that Thane comes. Thane, are you there yet? Is the Avini Plus Relief. And of course, Darren is the famous one for having a very short and drastic and quick experience. The woman that called with Thane, and I'm thinking it was yesterday sometime, on a three-way call, said, I'm still hurting. I had back surgery. It was basically collapsing, bones that had to be rebuilt and that kind of thing. And so I said, well, let's see if we can make a difference by tomorrow morning. Right? I think it's okay to have a bold idea. Let's see. Okay, so you've already been patient. You already were patient, right? Anybody else feel like that? Okay, I already was patient. Now I'm ready for some difference. So then's when you go to multiple products and you go to doing everything right that you can think of. Make sure you've got your water up and all your other products in use. And now you're thinking about the one that should do the thing you're asking for. Thane, are you there yet, buddy? Oh, it's killing me. He's got to get there. Anyway, so he just called as we've been on this call with the woman that was on the phone with
him. We lost you, Chipper. Well, we lost our science man to finalize the call. Marcy, you want to come in and finalize the call with whatever you want to share? We'd love to hear from you since you're here. I just need you to unmute.
I was trying to yell at him. He's still talking like he's on.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, oh, no. I honestly, I can hear him. We go to different rooms.
He's muted right now. Is the
Yeah.
difference.
Chip, you're muted, by the way. There he comes.
There
Okay,
he comes.
we couldn't get her on, but Thane's gonna come. They've been trying to get on, and so Thane's gonna come tell the story. So it's just so good, and when it's fresh like that, I mean, the person deserves to tell their own story. Isn't it about a cajillion times better when Trisha Hammer tells her story than let's say I told Trisha's story? Oh, gee, that's not quite the same. That's not quite. There's a lot of drop off there. So, are you back with us yet, Thane? He doesn't have enough bandwidth to get them both in, I guess, or something. But come on, buddy, come on. So I told you what the problem was, and I told you what the goal was. I told you how fresh it was. It was last night, and the product that we're looking to get the benefit from is the array of Avini Plus Relief products. Are you there, Thane?
Yes. Can you
There
hear me,
he
Chip?
is. So I just laid a little bit of background, and I haven't given any punchlines. It's up to you, buddy.
Yeah. So Deb just barely got on as well. Deb, are you there? You might have to click unmute.
Yes. Okay.
Can you hear me, Debbie?
I just unmuted myself.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, Debbie, we know you're struggling with a huge health issue. Please refrain from saying exactly what it is, but describe your symptoms if you would, please.
My symptoms?
Yeah.
Okay. There is like a pins and needles sensation, nerve pain, shooting down my legs as a result of a pinched nerve from a broken vertebrae for 6 months.
And that the pinched nerve came about, or the broken vertebrae came about because of explosive cells in your vertebrae, correct?
Yeah, it was a burst fracture from oh, what do they call it? It's a word they use for another issue.
Yeah.
It wasn't an accident, in other words. It was.
So because of this, though, you've had massive issues with inability to function. You've lost a great deal of weight. You lost the ability to actually walk without walking aids. They went in, when was it? Not too long ago, and they basically cemented the vertebrae in your spine. Is that right?
You know, I have such an echo, I can't even understand what you're saying. I don't know what I'm doing with this stuff here.
Chip, are you there?
Turn it down or something?
Can interview her better than I can.
Deb, can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, you don't have the echo. It's just things.
Okay, great. Okay, so you basically repaired your spine with some really good glue in a surgery. Please tell the rest of the story, especially yesterday and today.
Okay. I've been using a lot of different remedies that were working in addition to the ear relief. And it seemed to be working pretty well, and it actually helped me get off of some medications, an opioid that I was taking. And it was working pretty well, but there didn't seem to be anything improving. So I called you yesterday, and you made a suggestion to kind of blast it last night. And this morning I was, oh my gosh, the pain was almost gone. I got up without my cane and walked around and started doing, making the bed and doing housework and stuff. And I'm thinking, wow, not only did I sleep real well, but the pain is not gone, but it's reduced probably by 60-70%.
And could you describe what the blast it concept boiled down to? How did you, you'd been using the product, so it was building up. And now we wanted to get the most from it we could between when you went to bed last night and this morning. So what did you do?
Right. Okay, I had been using it every 4 hours, just orally. Two bursts in my mouth every 4 hours. And I went from that to one shot on the bottom of each foot, a shot on my belly button, a shot on each of the areas, the carotid, where the carotid artery is under my ears and my temples, and 2 squirts in my mouth. That was it. Then I went to sleep. And I went to sleep and didn't wake up until morning.
Well, that was the dream result that we could only hope for, and to have you come along and be able to tell your story when it's so fresh in your own words is a joy to hear. Thank you, Deb, for telling the story, and I hope that's an encouragement. And I always say, who knows? Maybe you would have gotten better overnight anyway, and we just bought the chance for you to go through one more night, or maybe that hyper compliance, that creativity in using the product was the thing that made the difference. And whatever it was, you're better today, and you have to be a little careful not to do all the housework on the first day. So,
oh my gosh, and I do tend to do stuff like that.
So Deb only had the Plus Relief spray. And so the people are asking if you would say again how you used the Plus Relief spray right before you laid down and went to sleep last night.
Right.
They're just asking if you would say it again because they didn't get it the first time.
I'm sorry, now you're in the echo again. So what did you ask me?
They're asking you to repeat how you used it.
Okay. Okay, and again, I just had the spray, so I will be getting some of the topical too. I put 1 spray on the bottom of my feet, of each foot, and 1 spray in my belly button, 1 spray along the area below each ear, my temples, each temple, 1 spray, and 2 in my mouth. And I forgot that you had said 5 in my mouth. I only put 2.
And they got that wonderful result. What about on the surgery on the back? Did you spray your back at all?
Oh, and I did put it on the spot where where he poked the whatever it is that shoots the glue in to the vertebrae. It was a vertebral plasty or something.
So thank
like
you, Deb. Thank you, Thane. We are going to mute ourselves and give it back to Robben to close the call. That was a great add to a great call. Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
well,
yes.
I'm sure glad you told me about it because I sure reaped the benefit.
Okay, so with your permission, Rob, I'm just going to add a couple of little pieces here.
Please.
I know sometimes when I tell people that to experiment with the product, or how I use the product, or how we can use the product, that people sometimes go, because it is unique. But this product is unique. What we can do with these products is absolutely unbelievable. And every time somebody stretches from what they know to doing a bit more, trying different places, all the things, this is years and years of success of trying different things. And when one thing works in the belly button, why wouldn't other things work in the belly button? When one thing works on your feet, why wouldn't we use all of them? Why don't we use the cell defender? Put the cell defender in the belly button. Put the only thing I ask is that you don't cover the belly button. If you're going to put stuff in there, just put a couple of drops in. It's not like you need to bandage it shut. That's not a healthy thing to do. A lot of people have get unwarranted and bad advice about how to use the navel. The navel is an important feature. And one of the things that happen is we get a lot of parasites there. We get damaging enemies that go there. And a lot of times you may realize you put on a pair of pants and that pair of pants goes across your navel and it doesn't feel good. Well, that's your navel, that's your body telling you, I need to get some of this stuff out of here. And I'm not talking about body, I'm talking about body waste, but I'm not talking about bowel waste. I'm talking about that's the system by which you were fed as a child. And all of the nutrients and so forth that came through your mother to you, including the poisons and parasites and so forth, came to you through that piece of your body. So why wouldn't we discover the amazing trail that it can be to recovery? And so we use that. We use the feet. All of the pressure points in the feet are so vital. Why do you think there are all those charts showing all the pressure points, all the things that can do good? So I just remind you, when you wonder what would Marcy do, bet she would take it. She would use it everywhere, anywhere. And the more you use it, the more you use it, the more results you get. If you're not getting results, it's just because we need to develop more places to put it. We need to talk more about the advantages of finding adventure in our products. Please, please know there's so much more that can happen that hasn't even happened yet. Somebody out there is going to get something that I haven't tried. Somebody out there is going to get results because they did something I never dreamed of. But I do think a lot about how this product works and what it's capable of. And the Pure Relief product is brilliant. The fact that it worked to make me sleep is why Chip would say, take the 5 drops, isn't that brilliant? Listen, it is brilliant. And the only thing more brilliant is when you use the ideas that are planted. They're seeds, use them. Grow your experiences, grow your testimonies, grow your results by the products you use and the people you help. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. That concludes our call for today on the recording. Thank you so much, Marcy, for closing the call. That was beautifully done. You and Chip, and thank you, Deb, for sharing. Keep us posted.